So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Bill Spaniel. I'm the head of bank supervision and regulation and credit here at the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia. But I have the honor this morning of introducing our kickoff speaker, Governor Michelle Bowman. Governor Bowman took office at the Board of Governors in November 26th of 2018 and was reappointed to the board on January 23rd, 2020 for a term that will expire in 2034. Prior to her appointment at the board, Governor Bowman served as the State Bank Commissioner of Kansas, was also a vice president at the Farmer and Drovers Bank in Kansas. She's also done a number of stints in Washington, D.C., working on Senator Bob Dole's staff. She was a director of congressional and intergovernmental affairs at FEMA and was a deputy assistant secretary and policy advisor to Homeland Secretary Tom Ridge. She also spent some time in London with her husband, where she had a private firm. And it's been my privilege to serve with Mickey for the last 7 to 8 years. I will tell you that my experience with her is that she has been a strong advocate for community banks and for responsible and for reasonable, responsible regulation and supervision. So without further ado, Governor Bowman, thank you for coming, and I'll give the floor to you.
So good morning. It's a pleasure to join you for the second day of the 8th Annual Fintech Conference hosted by the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia. While I'm disappointed not to be able to join you in person this morning, I am pleased to be among the more than 1,000 participants joining today's discussion online. The agenda today promises to be just as informative and thought-provoking as yesterday's session. And given that this conference provides an opportunity to engage in discussions about fintech and its importance in the financial services industry, I'd like to reiterate something I've highlighted a number of times in the past. Regulators have an obligation to understand the functionality of new innovations, including the benefits that innovation can bring and the accompanying risks. Conferences like this enable us to expand our knowledge and understanding of these benefits and risks by bringing together experts throughout the financial system to discuss important developments and emerging issues related to financial technology. These discussions help to inform our work throughout the Federal Reserve System. Often, the pace of technological change can be rapid. New or improving technologies have the potential to make our banking system faster and more efficient. They can result in both lowering the cost of and expanding the availability of products and services for consumers, but they can also carry risks. To be effective in the face of this ongoing evolution, regulators must be aware of the potential risks and how existing technology could be leveraged for new services. Therefore, we must remain vigilant but nimble in our approach. This requires us to recognize and follow 3 innovation-related principles. First, we must be willing to develop an understanding of new technology. Second, we must be open to considering how we approach innovation. And finally, we must prioritize how we integrate into innovation as we revise or enhance our regulatory frameworks. But turning back to why we're here today, this conference was launched back in 2017. It has grown in standing and relevance every year since. As President Harker noted in his remarks yesterday, the conference has become a system highlight because of its ability to focus on and keep pace with the change of technology. This conference also embodies the principles I just articulated of working to understand new technologies, having an openness to innovation, and considering policy choices that enable integration of financial technology into the banking and financial systems. Year after year, this event provides an opportunity for us to come together to engage and learn about fintech issues, keeping an eye toward the future. But we must recognize that the success and growth of this conference is due to the leadership and vision of President Harker. For those who may not be aware, at the end of June next year, President Harker will reach the Federal Reserve retirement requirements, and unfortunately, this will be his final FinTech conference as President and CEO of the Philadelphia Fed. I want to congratulate and recognize Pat on the creation and success of this conference, and to look forward to the ongoing and future legacy that he has created for the Philadelphia Reserve Bank with this event. President Harker is, by his own admission, an accidental economist. He's an engineer first, and in fact, he came to the field of economics through an engineering issue that required economics to solve. Well, as someone who's sat at the Federal Open Market Committee conference table with President Harker for the past nearly 6 years, I can attest to this approach. He enlists this engineering perspective to assist in understanding economic issues. That methodical approach to issues and his willingness to look deep under the proverbial hood is a hallmark at his hallmark at the Philadelphia Fed. Through his leadership, the bank has built strong partnerships with communities throughout the 3rd District who know that they can rely on this institution for expert knowledge and data research that are critical to working through local concerns. It was also under his leadership that the Philadelphia Fed's Consumer Finance Institute took its current shape. Today, the Institute's multidisciplinary approach to issues, bringing together economists, industry and regulatory experts, and community development specialists, is redefining our understanding of consumer credit and payments. And he's positioned the Philadelphia Fed as a true thought leader in technology and innovation, and in the application of both hard and soft data. This conference is just the most public example of this. His decision nearly a decade ago to give the green light to a conference specifically geared to fintech proves that President Harker is clearly standing in the center of the intersection of engineering and economics. So while I don't want to detract from any of our speakers, panelists, and presenters today, I must recognize and thank President Harker for his forward-looking leadership. The 3rd District and the Federal Reserve System are both better for his service. Pat, thank you. So to close, I want to thank you again for allowing me these few minutes just to start the conference today. I look forward to the discussions and the conversations that you'll have.